Hello! I'm okay. I hope you're not worried. I drank water, and then an air bubble, I think, got in my lungs. That happens, right? Anyhow, it's been a long recording session already, so this is actually going to be episode 2. I've decided I'm going to make this a multi-part and just take as long as I want, so that's exciting. I might miss dinner. I should let my roommates know. Anyhow, where did we leave off? Yes, we got through all of the okay ones. Now it is time to get into some really exciting ones. Oh, one sec. I need to put Bjork back in my ears. I'm going to be listening to Bjork this whole time. Okay. So, number 15. Number 15 is Minish Cap. Don't you know it? Minish Cap, as you may or may not know, was my summer Let's Play, and I worked so hard on it. Minish Cap, I really had a lot of expectations for. It was, one of the prettiest Zeldas to me, I really think it perfected the sprite style that I like. So I really had my eye on it, that and Wind Waker, for a really long time as a fan. I will say this is the last one where I'm going to focus on the negative, just because I still have to, I'll probably replay it before I go and make the extra episodes, I don't know for sure. But, I had a lot of times getting stumped in a way that didn't feel great. I had already played a good number of 2D Zeldas and 3D Zeldas at this point, and in the Let's Play you can hear me get frustrated with the game. Usually mostly just for weird, lack of direction stuff, and just the linearity of it all was a little bit, I feel like I was exploring, but also getting my hand held, and just wasn't always clear how to move forward, because it wasn't as much like, oh, the rock's blocking your way. It was more like, did you remember to talk to Uncle Shivers and get the shiver stick? I'm like, no, I don't know who that is. So it kind of lost me in some ways, but it did get me in having a really good pick-apart world. Not the best, but to describe that, it's a term that I've made. It won the pick-apart world star because I just find there are some things, like Luigi's Mansion I think was the first great example. Wind Waker is a great one. There's going to be many of the most defining ones on this list where I'm in the world and I'm like, alright, I want to go over there and get that thing. Once I get that thing, I can go over there. Then over there, I can get this, and I'm going to go over there. And what happens is you're zigzagging all around the map and getting all these really fun collectibles and getting momentum. Item progression is a big part of this, but item progression is its own star because I care so much about that. And item progression wasn't great in this game. But having a world where you could go around and get, chests just felt great. Like, oh, I'm going to get that chest. I'm going to go get a kinstone piece. I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to talk to that guy and get his kinstone piece, and then I'm going to run over there, and I'm going to unlock this. There was a good sense I could picture. I don't know how much I got wrapped up in it while I was playing, but I could really picture myself enjoying, once I'm no longer confused by the game, running around and getting collectibles and picking stuff up, making trips to get all my collectibles. I really like doing that. And then it was comfy, it was nice to control Link. A lot of his items felt pretty good. Some of them felt bad. But between the vibes and a pretty good control of Link, I averaged it out to be a 2nd star for just comfort, It was comfortable, and it was super aesthetic, so, that could be an aesthetic star of its own, even if I decide, Link didn't feel that great, it wasn't that comfortable to play. Yeah, it was definitely pretty. I liked collecting stuff. I think it's going to grow on me more and more. I couldn't have said much more than that about Wind Waker a year ago. Replaying it this year made me realize it has a lot going on that I like, so don't sleep on Minish Cap. It's just not one of my hugest faves of the year. It kind of rounds out these games were nice, but they really get outshined by the other games in their genre, in their series that I liked. I played a lot of video games this year, didn't I? Next! I can't believe the games that are on this list. Next, entering the oh whoa zone, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time was a game that I played for the first time this year as a 22-year-old in 2020. I played it a little bit last summer. I didn't really get very far. I was very confused by it. And I played a little bit more of it in the winter, but I didn't really get very far. But what happened was, 3D Zelda just kind of clicked with me in a new way. I returned to Wind Waker after a while in June, and I realized I could alt-target and use my projectiles instead of using motion controls, and that really changed stuff. And Wind Waker specifically, I think, may put Ocarina of Time in the grave because of how much I like the combat now. But the reason that I got back to Ocarina was I realized how great the combat felt when you were really using the alt-targeting right. That's kind of, where it sits. I didn't end up actually giving it a star for combat, and I don't think I will. But that's how I got into it. But where it got me. Oh my god, you know, L-targeting and using a bow, that's fine. Other games do that better. It was fine. It was fun enough. Where it really got me was just the freaking item progression. I ended up playing Ocarina of Time all summer. I played it with my friends and did a randomizer. It must be the best randomizer game ever. I am in love with the item progression. Getting a randomized freaking like bomb bag, and now you can open up every rock in the world and weird spider holes and stuff. It was amazing. Slingshot's not much, I guess, but like you boomerang, now you can get new sculptures, you can hit enemies differently, you can, you know, just your world opens up. The bow, I guess you can, what, kill people? I don't know. Hookshot, now you can go to new places, you can grab items from further away. You know, the great examples are the bombs and stuff. And then I think the lifting items and the hammer, anything that can break a rock generally really improves my quality of life once I get it. But just the use of item progression, regardless of the item itself, like forget about the randomizer, it just feels awesome seeing all these things and then coming back to them with the items that are right. This is one of the things that nailed home that I love item progression, and it's one of my most important stars. It's just so fun getting items and moving forward in this game. It's just great. And then I gave it the Pick Apart World star. It's not the best one, but it definitely has a lot of fun where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go to the graveyard and get my heart container and get some rupees from the Dampy game. Then I'm gonna run around and go and bomb this because now I have the rock. I have the bomb breaking rocks. I'm gonna go in the rock hole and I actually got this. And I think it mostly gets good in randomized runs where it's like, holy shit, I just got a song. So now I'm gonna run around and do this, but now I got that, so I'm gonna go over there and get that. I ended up having a lot of fun running around Hyrule, so it's pretty much entirely just for the progression. The pacing of the game is really awesome too. I'm not wild about the story. It's definitely a whatever story for me as a first run or first year playing it a lot. It's great. I think where it shines is just the feelings of progress. Like, holy crap, I can't believe I have insert item here because now I'm gonna go run around and get all the unlockables. You know, it kind of pales in comparison to Wind Waker for me in a lot of ways, but I will say that I like Hyrule Field better than the ocean. The ocean has a lot of appeal, but I really liked running around Hyrule Field while doing my, I don't know, groceries, my pickups everywhere. Like, man, I gotta go to Gerudo Village so I can plant a bean, so I can get a Skulltula, so I can get a, I don't know, wallet. It just really got me. Yeah, in the moment I was like, hell yeah, my first N64 game, so crunchy, so polygonal. Now when I go back, I'm like, this is creepy. I could give it a star. Ocarina of Time 3D has the prettiest skies. I think those are just gorgeous. I think that even in the original, the skies are pretty, but Ocarina of Time 3D could be a really pretty game. It may go on to get an aesthetic star, not for like the false place of nostalgia polygons where I didn't even grow up with N64 games. I started with Game Boy Advance, GameCube. Get that out of the way. Did not play anything before that. All the other Game Boys, all the other consoles were things I had to go back for, mostly this year. But yeah, it was awesome. Majora's did not make the list. I played a good chunk of it, and I really did click very well with a lot of parts of it, but not all of it. I ended up just pausing because I found myself pushing through the game way too much, and I was like, you know what? I don't have to play this year. I'm gonna come back to this as a sign of respect to the game. I was a little bit like, at the end of the day, you know, all my friends warned me, like, don't go to it for Ocarina of Time 2, and I'm like, I won't. I'll go to it for human-based Ocarina of Time, and it's like, no, just don't. Just wait till it calls to you. I will also say I think it might be a little too drab for me. I can only do so much drabness or so much melancholy. I only have so many emo phases per year. We'll talk about that more later, probably. Yeah, Ocarina of Time, number 14. Let's move right along. Yeah, the creepy places were too creepy. So creepy. The shadow place was so creepy, especially on N64. I'm still kind of scared of them. Okay. Number 13. Oh, it's getting dark out in Animal Crossing. Cadence of Hyrule. This one barely made it on. This is the one that I probably played the least of, but I know I'm going to love it. I think Crypt of the Necrodancer is a little bit hardcore for me. Me and my friend Liz both played, you know, she watched me play a bit of Cadence of Hyrule. I got it once the DLC came out, so it was new to me this October, and she played some of Crypt of the Necrodancer because it was on free? It was on sale. It was on sale. And she's like, wow, this is really hard, and this red dragon keeps killing me. And I'm like, that seems like my least favorite part of Cadence of Hyrule. I don't exactly know everything about this game. I think it has potential to be one of my most favorite games ever, so get that out of the way. I really like the idea of, if the world is shuffled around a bit, which I think it may be, I love the idea of getting different items at different times, kind of like I mentioned liking the randomizer runs of Ocarina. I think this game has extreme potential to me for gameplay functions. At the moment, I've only done a boss or two, and it's been really fun. It took me a second to figure out, literal controls, because that's a big gateway thing for the Crypt of the Necrodancer games. That stopped stressing me out. I started to figure things out a little bit better than I had started. But I'm still pretty confused by the game. It's still pretty confusing. I think I'm figuring it out pretty well, but it is falling somewhere between Mystery Dungeon and a 2D Zelda for me. I think it's going to do great. I think I'm really going to come to love the gameplay, but for the moment, all I can really say is that I love the style. I love the music, I love how it looks, I like the energy of it, and a lot of good stuff is going on. It's only got 1 star right now, but it's going to get many more. I just gotta play it more. The idea of playing a game a whole bunch of times with a slightly different experience and having it be at all related to item progression, I think it has potential to be a great game. Probably a stream game too, but it's just, I haven't really clicked with it yet. It only kinda made it onto the list of 2020 games. Now things get spicy, don't they? Gates to Infinity. Number 12 is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity. I played the first 2 Mystery Dungeons as a kid, then I got the 3DS ones, and I was like, I didn't really open Super, and then Gates I played a little bit of on Easter once, and I was like, I was very a phobe. And then, I think Gates is a pretty strong countercurrent against it online. A lot of people do not like the changes that it makes, and Spike Chunsoft did kind of unmake them moving forward, but man, I really like this game. It just took coming back at the right time. I gave it the comfy star because, oh my god, those 3D worlds look so good. I loved being in them. This was one of the games back in June and July that made me start using the 3D slider for the first time because I just wanted to be in like the inn and all the places in the town. It was so comfy, and I haven't gone back to compare it to Super just yet, but there's a certain something to the color palette and something about the models just looked extra soft to me, and it really came across. There's great Nacer vistas and stuff. There's pretty dungeons in the 3DS Mystery Dungeons. It's really, really nice. Then the next star is the human element star, which is something that I'm new to really overly caring about. But, it really got me. It had a nice story. Sometimes the progression was wonky, but when I look back at it, I'm like, yeah, I would do all that again. Like, that story was pretty fun to follow. The characters are good. There's a good number of them, and they're all memorable. There's some really great stars. Like, Emolga is just one of my favorite Pokemon, and such a great take on Emolga. The only issue I have with this game is actually the gender stuff. They took away the ability to choose your gender, and they aggressively use male pronouns for you and your partner, so that is not cool. And the only characters that get she pronouns are ones that are of romantic interest to somebody, pretty much, which is just not good. Like, for a game that's usually does a great job, and without even really needing to do a great job with gender stuff, just really did a great job with the first 2 games and did good with Super. And Gates just really dropped the ball. I say that because Emolga is a feisty tomboy, and they call her a boy. Like, no, that character is not a boy. I think something might have been funky with the localization, but Emolga was one of my favorite characters specifically because I perceived her as a girl. I don't think she's a boy. Either way, it was a very comfy village. The plot was really cool. The themes were really cool. The themes of bringing back hope were really interesting, and the twists were fun. Mystery Dungeon seems to always have its twist, I'm learning the hard way in Super. But I played up with. I started with Gengar and Grovyle. I was there. I was there as a kid. I know it has twists, but these twists were able to create really interesting characters. And that was great. And then I gave it an RPG star, because I actually, I'm not huge into RPGs anymore, but I really have started to love the item management in these games. I loved having big parties. It didn't perfect parties now that I've played Super, but I loved, oh my god, I really love how they reimagine moves in Mystery Dungeon. It's become my only way I play Pokemon. My pig, I had Tap Pig, roll out, multi-hit rock right on the spot. You can kill things in one hit. Flame Wheel has a chance to give you bonus turns, because that's how speed works. It was so cool. I would use Flame Wheel, and then it would get me extra turns, and then I would use freaking roll out and kill things in one hit. It was super fun to play, and then Oh, I was good with my partner. Oshawott I loved as a character, but I don't remember what moves she had, ultimately. Either way, a lot of my other supporting characters had fun moves, so I really clicked with the item management and the moves. I really like Mystery Dungeon for that. So, continuing this episode to 11 is Hatadaku UFO. Hatadaku UFO is the first game I have played by Hal, and one of the first games I played that started as a mobile game, which has become a bit of interest to me because I gave it a double star right off the bat for how nice it is to control the UFO. Like, Hal straight up said, like, you know, it's a mobile game, but there's no in-app purchases. Pay $4 up front, no in-app purchases, and then it translated great to the Switch because of that. And I really am interested. I think in 2020 I'm going to play more games like this because I really appreciate the inherent appeal of the mobile game setup where it is just like fun to control the character. I've had some conversations with my roommates about, you know, the old games that we played that were in-app purchase mobile games before Gacha, where it was like, you know, Angry Birds, Tiny Wings, Temple Run, Jetpack Joyride. There's so many where it was just really fun to control those characters, and Hatadaku UFO brought me back there after a whole year of like, man, if I enjoy controlling the character, I will do anything. But in addition to just how fun it is to control this little UFO and do the basic job of lifting and dropping, it has great style. I gave it a star straight out for just how cute the sprite work style is. The music is great, but I do really get annoyed by how often they repeat the Hatadaku UFO motif. It was adorable at first, and I may have burned out on the game just by playing it too much, but I don't know. I never call cute things annoying, and it is cute, but they do in every single song have a moment where the choir says Hatadaku UFO with the same exact melody, and sometimes they change it, but I just wish they put it in like musically or something instead of what they did. I just have to hear it so often. So often I have to hear it. That's not that bad. The puzzles I'm not that great at. I'm not sure if it's going to get a point for them because I love doing the lifting puzzles. I'm just not really very good at them, so I haven't made it very far. But this is a great game. This could go on to become one of my faves, and it's really fun feeling another game Hal's made with such amazing game feel. So that's pretty solid, eh? I guess before we go on to the top 10, I could call the episode here. Oh my god, it got really dark here in my my Animal Crossing world. It's spooky. I'm going to call this mini episode here, and then I'm going to get back to you with the top 10. Bye.